Recently, Ubisoft released a demo of their open world adventure game, Immortals Fenyx Rising, on Stadia? Yes, Google Stadia. I have some thoughts on Stadia, so be sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss out on that video. But this video isn't about the viability of a completely cloud-based gaming platform that's totally dependent on your internet connection. No, this video is about Immortals Fenyx Rising. So let's get into it. Let's just get this out the way. I'm not necessarily a fan of the name. It was originally called Gods and Monsters, but then they changed it to Immortals Fenyx Rising for some reason. Anyway, what is this game, and why does it look like a knockoff Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild? Immortals Fenyx Rising is a third-person, open-world adventure game that puts you in the shoes of Phoenix, a winged demigod or goddess that's tasked with saving the Greek gods from Typhon, one of the deadliest titans in Greek mythology. Along the way, you'll fight mythological monsters like Medusa, Cyclops, and Minotaur, and explore the open world and solve various puzzles. It's all very standard open world fare, and you might even be forgiven of thinking, it's a knockoff Zelda or even the recently released Genshin Impact. However, this game does have a certain humor and charm that is very unlike those games. For starters, this game is narrated by Zeus and Prometheus. Each of them is trying to tell the story, but humorously debate the quote unquote facts, such as when they fight over one of the monsters that Phoenix fights.
Hey, you! What a cute little...
Skip, it's a Minotaur, but actually Cerberus.
Wasn't he with Hades that weekend?
Did I say Cerberus? I meant a griffin.
Make it the ship Odysseus hid under to escape from Polyphemus.
No, a lion.
Might as well be a flock of roosters.
Oh, good call.
You're not serious.
The roosters of the sea.
It's all very wholesome and funny, and quite honestly, it's a bit refreshing with all the gritty and serious games out there. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love playing gritty and serious games, but occasionally it's good to just have good old-fashioned innocent fun.
The Cyclops could focus the light of the sun through its single eye.
Actually, you'd need a magnifying glass.
No one asked you.
And honestly, this game is a lot of fun to play. When I saw videos of the initial gameplay, it did look kind of generic to me if I'm being honest. However, playing it for myself changed my mind. You have an array of weapons at your disposal. You have a sword for a light attack and an axe for a heavy attack. There's also a bow for long range attacks. In addition, if you hold down a button, you can summon more powerful attacks like Ares' Wrath, which is a bunch of giant arrows that emerge from the ground, or Hephaestus' Hammer, which is, well, a giant hammer that does a ton of damage. That same button also allows you to shoot remote-controlled arrows. You also have a literal phoenix companion that can also assist you in battle. All of these attacks allow you to string together impressive combos that can literally make an enemy fly off into the distance. Oh, and unlike Breath of the Wild, your weapons don't break. Yay! Thank the Lord. There seems to be a good variety of enemies in the game. Now, mind you, this is a demo, so I haven't really seen all of the enemies this game has to throw at you, but the ones in the demo were pretty varied. It forces you to keep moving while in combat, while employing different strategies to defeat different kinds of enemies. For example, you'll have to use heavy attacks to defeat shield-wielding enemies while dodging ranged attacks from other enemies. Parrying attacks will also slow down time for a few seconds to get in a few good hits, kind of like Breath of the Wild's flurry attack. One of the things to keep in mind though is that using more powerful attacks uses up stamina. Other things such as climbing or sprinting or gliding also use up the stamina bar. I thought it would be a bit annoying at first because honestly I'm not really a fan of stamina bars in general, but this one's pretty manageable. I mean, your light and heavy attacks don't use stamina, so you can still rely on them while your stamina meter is building. Also, the rate at which it fills is actually quite fast. It's not really that slow. You can also drink potions to refill your stamina if you need a quick boost. There's also potions to refill your health. Now, I've made a few Zelda Breath of the Wild comparisons, but there are some similarities to Ubisoft's own Assassin's Creed games. For example, you can stealthily sneak up on enemies to deal massive damage and give you an edge in the fight. The buttons for attacking are also similar to the recent Assassin's Creed games, which I'm not necessarily a fan of, but I got used to it. The game does place a heavy emphasis on exploration though. There are secret tunnels to go through and far-off locations that can only be reached by gliding on air currents. There are also little secret dungeons called Charter's Rifts that have you solving these elaborate puzzles and or fighting waves of enemies to gain a piece of Zeus's lightning. This is also to encourage the loot collection. Yes, there is loot in the game, which grants you better weapons and armor as you collect them. It is confirmed that Immortals will have an in-game purchases, aka microtransactions, but I don't think Ubisoft has revealed any details about those. But it is something to be aware of though if you're sensitive to those kinds of things. Overall though, I actually think many people will find Immortals Fenyx Rising a surprisingly fun adventure game. Does it take inspiration from Breath of the Wild? Most definitely. In fact, you can even do the whole magnet levitation thing just like in Breath of the Wild. That said, that's not necessarily a bad thing, as it's a genuinely fun and hilarious game to play. And the interplay between Zeus and Prometheus isn't necessarily gut-bustingly funny, but you'll probably crack a smile or two, or three.
The juice was so rich, it would flow down my chin. Divine.
Ah, yeah. Those babies were delicious.
Babies? From the mosaics? You know that's just a visual metaphor, right? The fruits of the earth are not literally babies.
Ah, that explains the soapy aftertaste.
The combat is fast and engaging with just enough depth to encourage skilled players to pull off crazy combos. If you have Stadia, I'd highly encourage playing the demo. It's free and it might just surprise you. So those are my impressions of the demo of Immortals Fenyx Rising. I might end up doing a full review of this once it comes out on December 3rd, but we'll see. If you like this content, please hit that like button so we can beat the algorithm and consider subscribing so you don't miss any other impressions, reviews, or rants on different gaming topics. I mean, what do you have to lose? It's free and you can always unsubscribe later, right? Also, if you like watching people play games, you can follow me at twitch.tv/packetstiller, or you can subscribe to my other YouTube channel, Packetstiller Plays, where I do full playthroughs of single-player games. Finally, you can follow me on Twitter at Packetstiller or on Facebook at facebook.com/PacketStillerGaming. I'd like to thank you for watching. Stay safe, wear a mask, go vote, in that order. Deuces.